Where's that reset button?
Today we're discussing Sonic the Hedgehog, what's commonly considered the Blue Blur's biggest bomb. Not that one. No, not that one. Not that one. I actually like that one. Oh god, not that one. We're doing Sonic 06.
Sonic the Hedgehog has always been one of my favorite franchises, with Sonic Adventure 2 being one of my favorite games of all time. I've stuck with him through thick and thin, playing every game from the Sonic Shuffle to Sonic Riders. I've even enjoyed some of the more controversial ones, like Sonic Heroes and Sonic Unleashed. So naturally, when they announced a new game for its 15th anniversary, I was pretty excited. And even better, it looked like they were going back to the adventure style of gameplay. But as time went on, things started to go south, staff was cut, and deadlines were approaching. And instead of the Sonic Adventure 3 I was hoping for, instead we got the infamous Sonic 06. And how did the world react? But did you know that some people actually like this game? And I don't mean like watching Game Grumps play it, I mean actually enjoy playing it. Now I'm sure you're wondering what redeemable qualities this game could possibly have. It's glitchy, each loading screen takes about 3 days, and there's human on hedgehog kissing in it. Well, again, we're gonna look at the good, the bad, and the ugly to find out just what about this game has kept it in our hearts for so long, as opposed to just being tossed away and forgotten like countless other broken games before it. This is Sonic 06. So if they're firing it up, the first thing you'll notice is this is the prettiest Sonic game to date. The story begins with Soleanna's Festival of the Sun's opening ceremony being attacked by Dr. Eggman, who seeks the flames of disaster from Princess Elise. Sonic arrives and attempts to save her, but fails when he's attacked by Eggman's robots. Sonic then sets off to find and save Elise. During the adventure, you'll run the usual cast of Not Sonics, including Red Sonic, Pink Sonic, Black Sonic, and newcomer to the game, Silver Sonic, the last two having their own separate campaigns. Now the second thing you'll notice is this is the ugliest Sonic game to date. Okay, so maybe it's not the ugliest. Once you get past the initial shock of going from a Final Fantasy game back to Sonic, the graphics really aren't all that bad. I mean, they're not great, but they're serviceable. So after 6 minutes of cutscenes and load screens, you finally get to play. The game starts out with you in the main hub, Soleanna, and our first topic. In general, I think the hub world is pretty good. It contains what you'd expect from a hub world, a map connecting all game levels, side quests, and even a little item shop. You got a lot to say there, buddy? However, something separating Soleanna from the likes of Isle Delfino or even Station Square is a lack of motivation to explore. Secrets like finding a Chow egg in Station Square or hidden blue coins or shines in Isle Delfino. While Soleanna isn't necessarily bad, it does fail to exceed what you'd expect from a hub world. But for anyone missing the explorable adventure status from Sonic Adventure 1, they finally got their wish almost 10 years later. After acquiring a Lightspeed shoes from series veteran and fan favorite Alberto Robert, you're able to proceed to the first level. And by the way, I should also mention that getting power-ups to enter new areas has also been a fan favorite since the days of Sonic Adventure, though sadly it isn't utilized much in this game. And here we are at last at the first level of Wave Ocean, and right off the bat you might notice it's pretty similar to Emerald Beach, the first level from Sonic Adventure 1. And that's appropriate because the game plays just like a Sonic Adventure game. Sonic has his usual repertoire of moves, including Spin Dash, Homing Attack, and the ability to control gravity. Wait, that last one might be new actually. Without going to the myriad of glitches yet, the gameplay at its base is not only good, it's very similar to the other well-received games before it. The major emphasis of the adventure games has always been about speed rather than platforming. Using the homing attack to cross gaps is pretty ingenious as it doesn't slow down your momentum like normal platforms would. This makes the game feel more like a rhythm game where the key to going fast is hitting the correct buttons at the right moment. Doing so feels good because you're rewarded instantly by being able to continue your pace, whereas failing slows you down and sometimes even requires you to go to a different route. All 3D Sonic games are based around this principle, and the same is true here. Something that does separate this game from previous adventure games is the cast of playable characters. Whereas in the other games you play as characters who have completely different gameplay types like treasure hunting or fishing. In this game the characters you play as all share a more similar gameplay style. There are slight differences like Shadow being able to drive vehicles and Silver having the ability to move things with telekinesis. This addresses a common complaint with the other games that the gameplay differentiated too much between other characters. People enjoying the more fast-paced levels of characters like Sonic and Shadow being upset with the slower pace of characters like Tails or Knuckles. While the characters might not have their own campaigns or levels, they do manage to show up in this game. Throughout several stages, you'll occasionally take control of one of Sonic's friends. These segments again offer up different gameplay types, sometimes having huge open areas designed around gliding with Knuckles or Rouge, or having tall obstacles to fly over with Tails. In general, I think this is a pretty good decision. Though I can't really say I dislike playing as different characters in the past games, I do think it's a good idea to have them more off to the side to allow more of the faster gameplay as a trio of hedgehogs. And I know there are people out there that would be upset if they got rid of the characters altogether. There is one more type of gameplay found in this game, however, and is possibly the most controversial part of the game: the Mach Speed sections of the game. These only come up in Sonic's campaign, and I think there's only like 4 or 5 of them, but good lord do these suck. On paper they're fine, with more polish they would have even been fun. Hell, Sonic Unleashed did them, and they were fun! But as we all know, polish is one of the many things this game was missing. The sections require you to run at a set speed on a set track and dodge as much random crap as they can throw at you. The problem comes with how unforgiving it is. Of course, getting hit without rings will kill you, but it's even more sinister than that. Sometimes getting hit just completely throws you off the stage. The problem is when Sonic gets hit, he does this weird tumble animation despite completely retaining his speed. You lose control of him when he's in this state, and if there's anything in front of you when it comes out of it, you're toast. Doing these segments can be the most unforgiving part of the game. So, while in all, the gameplay is a mixed bag. It's definitely not all bad, and in fact on paper it's possibly the best of the 3D games up to this point. Getting rid of the slower gameplay segments of the other characters and instead focusing on the faster characters makes a lot of sense. The problem is of course execution. And speaking of execution, I suppose it's time to talk about the elephant in the room. The glitches. This game is riddled with glitches. From bad collision detection, wonky gravity, to getting stun locked in boss fights, this game has about every glitch you can think of. And while none of them make the game unplayable, it's clear that the game was far from finished when released. On the plus side, you can actually use several glitches to your advantage by skipping huge chunks of the game, so there's that. Sadly, the fault's thrown in there though, as there's one more aspect possibly even worse than the glitches: the load times. The load screens in this game can take up to 30 seconds at a time, and as bad as that is, it's far worse than simply loading a level. The load times are everywhere, in the hub world and even in the actual levels. But the worst is the side quests. For whatever reason, they had the bright idea of putting them not just at the beginning of every side quest, but they actually had the balls to put in one line of dialogue and then load again, before and after each mission. This makes any side quest an absolute chore, as you'll often spend more time loading than actually playing. I timed the first mission, and despite only taking me 15 seconds to beat, I spent more than 2 minutes on that. That is unforgivable. And you better pray you don't fail, you're doing it all over again. When it comes down to it, the game came close to being good. Had they simply given them a little more time, I think the game could have been a huge success. If the load times were better optimized, they could have not only cut them down, but even gotten rid of the useless ones altogether. The glitches could have been ironed out, the game could have been cleaned up. Unfortunately, we don't always get a second chance, but if they did release it with all the fixes, I think the game could have stood a real good chance of becoming a classic. And it isn't too hard to see why. Most of the levels really are pretty enjoyable. The story had the more mature undertones of the adventure games, though in this case I'd say they went a bit too far with it, sacrificing good character designs and aesthetics. The music is good, and being able to do side quests for the first time could have been a real treat instead of an annoying obligation. As with most Sonic games, the soundtrack was well received, with His World ranking among the best of Sonic songs. Silver and Blaze were also well received and would become staples of the Sonic franchise. And of course, there's that small cult of fans that enjoy the game despite its shortcomings. But as imperfect as it is, I don't think it's too hard to understand just why some people enjoy it. For many people, it's a Sonic Adventure 3 we never got. It's a story with the characters we love, and if you're patient enough to endure the long load times and some small glitches here and there, there's an adventure worth going on, hidden underneath all the rough.
Well, it's just better than Sonic Boom, right? I don't think a genie could fix that disaster in just 3 wishes. This is Devil's Advocate, and if you're a fan of Sonic 06, then this video is for you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like and subscribe, so I too can someday make Let's Play videos instead.